Finding Nemo, released in 2003 by Pixar Studios. This time it's fish. The story I think we all know. Nemo is a kid clownfish living on a coral reef with his father Marlin, who is super overprotective of the son after the death of his mother a long time ago. One day, Nemo swims out of the safety of the reef and gets caught by a diver. Marlin then joins forces with a newly met fish called Dory, a fish with a lack of short term memory, to try and go all the way to Sydney and rescue Nemo. Meanwhile, Nemo himself is put into an aquarium at the dentist's office because the diver was a dentist, and with the other fish there, he tries to hatch an escape plan of his own. So, going into this film, I was slightly indifferent, I guess. Somehow I didn't remember it as being really exceptionally great in any way, in comparison especially to the other Pixar animations that I have seen. And I thought, it's fish. It'll probably be a bit boring now as an adult. I couldn't be more wrong. I had a blast. I think Finding Nemo executes its concept in such a way that execution elevates it to being an amazing film. The first thing that impressed me was how well the movie handles that thing of splitting the two main protagonists and running two separate stories at the same time. Just a few days ago, I saw Toy Story 2, where a similar thing happens, but I thought in that film it was not done very well, mainly because it felt like Buzz Lightyear was going through only physical journey to find Woody, and Woody, on the other hand, was only going through an emotional journey of, character growth, but wasn't physically moving anywhere. He was still in one room for the entirety of the film. So there was a strong disconnect between the two. Here, both Marlin and Nemo actively try to change their physical situation. Marlin travels through the ocean and Nemo tries to escape the aquarium, but they also both grow as characters. Marlin learns to face his fears, to find courage in himself, but also to learn trust others as well. And Nemo gets a confidence boost for himself. He doesn't let his one underdeveloped fin as a disability define him and hold him back. I think both those stories of Marlin and Nemo are executed just fantastically. They both have something to say, and it never feels like we're watching filler. Then there's also the character of Dory, who is an excellent comic relief, but also that push for Marlin very often comes from her. She tends to be the motor that moves his actions and decisions. And of course, towards the end, she has that fantastic emotional moment, that emotional hit when Marlin is trying to leave her behind. The other side characters are great: the sharks, the turtles, the aquarium fish. The story is paced really well, it maintains the same momentum throughout, and it never feels like we stopped in one place. The humor is great and intelligent with multiple references to other movies. It also looks great, as is par for the course for Pixar movies. The water is one thing. Once again, a Pixar movie was kind of an experiment with pushing the animation technology forward, and this time the main focus for the animators was water. And the result was that Pixar managed to create such a realistic model that they actually had to tone it down for the film because they were afraid that people would think this is real, this is not animation, this is footage of real ocean. And even with that toning down, though, it still looks fantastic, especially the way the light, plays through the water and the way it bounces off the fish scales and other objects. And a little tidbit this time around: rendering a single frame of any of the underwater scenes took up to 4 days because of the complexities of the fluid and the light. Also, I have to mention, while we're still on the subject of animation, the superb way that the characters are animated. If you think about it for a second, making an animated movie about fish is difficult on paper because they're not very emotive animals. They don't have hands or legs or necks, so you can't, you can't make them seem like humans in a very easy way. So the question was how to approach this so that we still know what emotions any character is going through at any time. And the way it's done is that the faces are very expressive and the fins are used as kind of hand substitute, but also the animators went for using the movement of the entire fish as a great way to show what's going on internally. They use that freedom that they have that comes from the fact that it takes place in the water, in the ocean, so the fish can move freely all the way around. So I just thought it was a cool solution to a potential problem. So again, I was really surprised by how much I loved Finding Nemo this time around. I think it has a tight narrative, great characters and character arcs. It's funny and touching and sweet and just very, very enjoyable.